Hello, this is Sachin Thakur, Assistant Professor, Electrical Engineering Department, Chandigarh Polytechnic College, Gurgaon. In this lecture, we are discussing about the torque of three-phase induction motor. Torque of three-phase induction motor. First of all, what is torque? Torque is nothing but it is the product of force into displacement. That how much torque is produced in the rotor when it rotates. First of all, the torque developed in induction motor is due to the interaction of stator field and the rotor magnetic field, and it also depends upon the strength of these fields. That how much strength of magnetic field in the rotor and in the stator. If we are saying about what is torque, the torque developed in induction motor is due to the interaction of stator and rotor magnetic field. The torque developed in induction motor is due to the interaction of stator and rotor magnetic field. When we give three-phase supply to the stator winding, a three-phase rotating magnetic field is produced, which rotates at a speed ns. Ns is equal to 120 F upon P. So this is the speed of stator rotating magnetic field. When this stator rotating magnetic field cuts the rotor winding, according to Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, an EMF is induced in the rotor winding. When EMF is induced in the rotor winding, it means there is a current in rotor winding. We know that the current carrying conductor. We know that if the conductor carrying current, it has magnetic field surrounding in it. So that's why when we give three-phase supply to stator winding, a three-phase rotating magnetic field is produced, and this three-phase rotating magnetic field cut the rotor winding. According to Faraday law of electromagnetic induction, an EMF is induced in the rotor winding. When EMF is induced in the rotor winding, it means current is induced in the rotor winding, and due to this current, there is another magnetic field set up in the rotor winding, and the torque finally the torque developed in induction motor is due to the interaction of stator magnetic field and the rotor magnetic field. And this torque also depend upon the how much is the strength of rotor magnetic field and the stator magnetic field. If we say about this torque is given by the torque developed in induction motor is directly proportional to phi1 I2 cos of phi2. The torque developed in induction motor is given by phi1 into I2 into cos phi2. This phi1 is your stator winding flux. This phi1 is your stator winding flux, and this I2 is your rotor current, and this cos phi2 is your rotor power factor. Rotor power factor. Now, there are two conditions in the induction motor. First is your standstill condition. First one is your standstill condition, and another one is your running condition. Running condition. At standstill condition, if we say about the standstill condition, the standstill condition is that if we give three-phase supply to the induction motor, when its rotor don't rotate, this condition is your standstill condition or starting condition. At starting, we give supply only to the stator part, but our rotor part is stationary. So at standstill condition is that when the rotor of the induction motor don't rotate, this is a standstill condition. And at standstill condition, the value of slip is equal to 1. Now what is slip? Slip is nothing but the ratio of synchronous speed minus rotor speed divided by synchronous speed. If we talk about the standstill condition, at standstill condition we know that the rotor don't rotate. If the rotor don't rotate, then the speed nr is equal to 0. If we put nr is equal to 0 here, then ns upon ns, here slip is equal to 1. At standstill condition, the value of slip is equal to 1. And at running condition is that condition when your rotate starts rotating. This is your running condition. And we know that in running condition, the value of slip exists. The value of slip exists. But if we are talking about a standstill condition, the value of slip is always equal to 1. Now, the question is that how this stator winding flux here comes, because the equation is here is a rotor current, here is a rotor power factor, but the flux here is stator winding flux. The stator winding flux is here because of we gave 3-phase supply to only the stator winding. We don't, in induction motor, we only give supply to the stator part, not to the rotor part. So the magnetic field produced in the rotor winding is just because of this stator winding flux. That's why here the torque is directly proportional to phi1 I2 into cos phi2. As we know that the torque developed in induction motor is given by tau is directly proportional to phi into Ia. The equation is same as that of the DC motor equation, DC torque equation, but the difference is that in DC, as we know, the power factor is always unity. But in case of 3-phase induction motor, as 3-phase induction motor is your AC motor, so here the power factor comes cos phi2. Why we take cos phi2? Because as we know, the motor converts electrical energy into mechanical energy, and the torque the final torque is developed on the rotor of the induction motor, because the shaft is connected to the rotor of the induction motor, and we take output from the shaft of induction motor. That's why we take the parameters of rotor side, here I2 and cos phi2, but the flux is due to the stator winding flux. As I told you earlier, this because the rotor of the induction motor is stationary at starting. We gave supply only to the stator part. So the input for the stator part is the rotor stator winding, your rotor magnetic field. So that's why we take here phi1. And now there are two conditions, as I told you, at standstill condition and the running condition. If we are talking about the standstill condition, if we are talking about the standstill condition, if we are talking about the standstill condition, standstill condition is that condition when your rotor of the induction motor do not rotate, even if we give supply to the stator, its rotor don't rotate. That condition is a standstill condition, and at that condition your E2 is equal to E1. Your E2 is equal to E1. E2 is the rotor side EMF, and E1 is the stator side EMF. At standstill condition, in the previous lecture we have discussing about the equivalent circuit of 3-phase induction motor. We know that the equivalent circuit of 3-phase induction motor is similar to the transformer equivalent circuit, but the difference between both is that in transformer, at the secondary side or at the output side, we connect the load. But in case of this 3-phase induction motor, the secondary of the induction motor is short circuited with the help of end rings. The main difference between both is that only in your 3-phase induction motor, your rotor side is short circuited with the help of end rings, but in case of transformer, we connect the load on the secondary side or the output side. But at standstill condition, this equation satisfies that either your rotor side EMF, rotor induced EMF is equal to the stator side induced EMF. If this induced EMF is same, then we can say this flux is directly proportional to E2 is directly proportional to E1, because this E2 is equal to E1, and your stator side flux at standstill condition, this as the stator side flux is directly proportional to E2 is directly proportional to E1, because this E2 is equal to E1 at standstill condition. As we know, according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, if there is more flux, then there is a more induced EMF. If we increase the flux, then this induced EMF is also increases. That's why I here also write this phi1 is directly proportional to E2, because if we consider E1, the parameter is on the rotor side, so that's why we take the parameters of stator side. At standstill condition, E2 is equal to E1, and as we know that if there is more number of flux, the more number of induced EMF is produced. So that's why I write here phi1 is directly proportional to E2, because E2 is equal to E1. Now if we put this value in above equation, then the above equation becomes torque is directly proportional to E2 into I2 into cos of phi2. If we put the value of equation in this phi1 value in equation phi1 into I2 into cos phi2, then the equation now becomes torque. Torque is represented by tau. Tau is directly proportional to E2 into I2 into cos of phi2. Now we know that the value of I2, the value of I2 is given by, the value of I2 is given by S into E2 upon under the root square R2 square plus S into X2 ka whole square. As we know that in case of DC circuit, the current is given by I is equal to V upon R. But we are talking about the torque equation of three-phase induction motor. When we are talking about the torque equation, it means your rotor, the load is connected on the rotor, and we can also say that it is the running condition. So we know that the value of current is given by V upon R. But this is a DC circuit case. If we are talking about AC circuits, then this value of I is given by V upon Z. V is voltage and Z is impedance. In case of a DC circuit, the same function is of this Z, impedance. Impedance opposes the current in AC circuit, and resistance, and in case of resistance, this opposes the current in DC circuits. And we know that the value of Z is equal to under root R square plus XL minus XC ka whole square. Z is equal to under root R square plus XL minus XC ka whole square. But we know that this XC is equal to 0. X is your capacitive reactance. As we discussed in the equivalent circuit of three-phase induction motor, there is no capacitive part. So we here take this XC is equal to 0. Now the final equation becomes R2 square plus XL ka square. This is the value of Z. Impedance is nothing but the combination of resistance, inductance, and the capacitance. Okay. Now this value of V, how this value of V comes S into E2. As we discussed that at standstill condition, this E2 is equal to E1. If we are talking about the running condition, I already told you that at running condition, the slip exists. Okay. So the rotor side induced EMF, so the rotor side induced EMF, so the value of this rotor side induced EMF is nothing but the S into E2. I said again, at running condition, the value of slip exists. That's why I multiply here S with E2. But at standstill condition, I told you earlier, at standstill condition, the value of slip is equal to 1. And at standstill condition, the rotor of the induction motor don't rotate. So that's why there is E2. Your rotor side induced EMF is equal to stator side induced EMF. But in running condition, the slip exists. That's why we multiply here S into E2. So here V is nothing but the S into E2. We are talking about the secondary side parameter or the rotor side parameter, and the value of Z is here put R2 square plus S into X2 ka square. Okay, R2 is the rotor resistance and S is the slip, and X2 is the rotor reactance, and here E2 is the rotor side induced EMF and S is the slip. We are talking about the three-phase torque equation of three-phase induction motor. So when the torque is applied on the motor, when there is a load connected on the motor, on that condition the torque is acting on the rotor. So the torque acting on the rotor, that means there is the running condition. That's why the value of I2 is equal to S into E2 into upon under root R2 square plus S into X2 ka whole square. Now, if we are talking about this cos phi 2, what is cos phi 2? Cos phi 2 is nothing but the rotor side power factor, and we know that the value of power factor is the ratio of resistance to the impedance. Power factor is nothing but the ratio of resistance to the impedance. Now, if we are talking about the rotor side parameter, so here we write that R2 and Z2. The value of Z2 is nothing but the R2 is your constant parameter, because the R2 is nothing but the rotor winding resistance. R2 is nothing but the rotor winding resistance, and this part is fixed and the constant. And here we put Z2, then R2 square plus S into X2 ka square. Now put the values of I2 and cos phi 2 in this above equation. So the above equation becomes, if we put the value of I2 and cos phi 2 in above equation, the value of the torque developed in induction motor now changes. If we put values of I2 and cos phi 2 in equation, then this torque I discussed earlier is directly proportional to E2 into I2 into cos phi 2. Now put the values of I2 and cos phi 2 in equation. Now torque is directly proportional to E2. The value of I2 is nothing but the S into E2 upon under the root R2 square plus S into X2 ka whole square. And the value of cos phi 2 is nothing but the R2 upon under root R2 square plus S into X2 ka square. Okay. Now, if we solve this above equation, the final torque equation becomes torque is directly proportional to S into E2 ka square into R2 upon R2 square plus S into X2 ka square. Okay, this is your final torque equation of induction motor. Here you can see that its torque developed is directly proportional to slip and the square of rotor side EMF. Here many points here comes from this equation. Here you can see that torque is directly proportional to your slip. If the value of slip increases, the torque also increases. Second is the torque is directly proportional to E2 square. E2 is nothing but the rotor side induced EMF. If we talking about the rotor side EMF, now from equation we saw that the torque is directly proportional to square root of your rotor side induced EMF. So this is the torque of three-phase induction motor that is acting on the rotor. Okay. Now if we are talking about the starting torque, okay. Now we are discussing about the starting torque. What is your starting torque? Starting torque is the condition where your rotor is just at standstill position, because we, as I already discussed, we give three-phase supply only to the stator part. The rotor is at that time is constant. So the starting condition is that condition when your rotor don't rotate. Okay. If we are discussing about the starting torque, what is the value of starting torque? When starting torque and the starting condition is same condition as your standstill condition, because at the starting, when we give three-phase supply to the stator of the induction motor, your rotor is at rest at that position. Okay. So at starting, we can also say that this NR, rotor speed, is equal to 0, just at starting condition. As I already told you, there are two conditions. First is starting condition or standstill condition, and second one is your running condition. Now that we are talking about the starting torque, as we know, at starting the rotor speed is 0, because we give supply only to the three-phase induction motor, stator part of the three-phase induction motor. So at that time, this rotor speed is equal to 0. As we know, this rotor speed is equal to 0, then slip is equal to ns minus nr upon ns. Here nr is equal to 0, then ns upon ns, that is equal to 1. So if we are talking about the if we are discussing about the starting torque, at starting the value of slip is equal to 1, because starting condition is same condition as of your standstill condition. At that condition, your rotor don't rotate. If the rotor don't rotate, then this nr is equal to 0. If we put value of this nr is equal to 0, then we find that the value of slip is equal to 1. Okay. Now, if we are talking about starting torque, then this equation becomes torque equation of the induction motor becomes tau s. In case of tau, we write tau s because we are talking about the starting torque. Ts is directly proportional to, here the value of slip is equal to 1 at starting. So s into E2 square into R2 upon R2 square plus s into X2 ka square. So this is your starting condition, yeah, starting torque. If we generally say about, if we said about the torque equation of three-phase induction motor, what is the net torque developed in the rotor of the induction motor? Then the formula is torque is directly proportional to slip into E2 square into R2 upon R2 square plus s into X2 ka whole square. This is a torque, actual torque acting on the rotor of the induction motor. Now, if we are, this is a special case. Now, if we are discussing about the starting torque, now at starting condition, as we know, the value of this rotor speed is equal to 0. From here, the value of we can calculate the value of slip is equal to 1. Okay. Now we are talking about the starting torque. Now this starting torque is actually proportional to, if we put values here s is equal to 1, then it will give starting torque equation, that is equal to Ts is directly proportional to E2 square upon R2 square plus s into X2 ka whole square. Okay. Now from here you can see that generally, as we know that generally the stator supply voltage is constant, because we are talking about a three-phase supply. So we are talking about a three-phase supply, then we can say that the stator supply voltage is constant, so that the flux per pole induced or set up in the stator is also constant, because we as we know that we are talking about the three-phase supply. So this three-phase supply is fixed. So the flux induced due to this three-phase supply is also fixed. This means that your rotor side induced EMF is also constant. and we can say we can also say that the rotor side induced EMF is also constant because the stator supply voltage is fixed or the constant, and so the flux setup due to this supply voltage, three-phase supply voltage, is also constant. Now the question is that this rotor side induced EMF is also constant because the value of three-phase supply, as we know, 440 volts, this supply is constant. So the flux induced in the stator winding is also constant. So as we know, the stator magnetic field is the input to the rotor. So the rotor side induced EMF is also constant because the supply is constant. That's why we can say that. That's why we can say that this E2 is also constant. E2 is also constant. If we remove the constant of proportionality from here, then it comes Ts is equal to K into E2 square into R2 upon R2 square plus S into X2 ka whole square. If we remove the constant of proportionality from here, then the equation becomes S is equal to tau S is equal to K into E2 ka square into R2 upon R2 square plus S into X2 ka whole square. Now, as we know, the stator supply voltage is constant because we give three-phase supply to stator. The three-phase supply voltage is your 440 volts, and this voltage is constant. We are here. The topic is three-phase induction motor torque. So if the supply is constant, then the flux induced or the magnetic field induced in the stator is also fixed or the constant. And as we know, this stator part or the stator magnetic field is input to the rotor. So the rotor side induced EMF, that is the E2, is also fixed or the constant. Is also fixed or the constant. So here this equation, if we rewrite this equation, then it becomes tau S is equal to K1 into R2 upon R2 square plus S into X2 ka whole square. Here there is another constant of proportionality, that is your K1. K1 is the mu constant of proportionality. Now, what is the value of K1? This value of K1 is nothing but the K into E2 square. Because this E2 is also constant, as I discussed earlier, this E2 is also constant, then the whole term, this K into E2 square, is also constant, and it is replaced by K1. So only we take the modification in this equation, tau S into K1 into R2 upon R2 square plus S into X2 ka whole square. The value of this K1 is equal to K into E2 ka square. Okay, the value of this K1 is equal to K into E2 ka square. So this is the value of starting torque. Okay, thank you.